My name is Annelise Peers. I'm from Investec Bank, Switzerland, the Chief Investment Officer. Something that's close to my heart is balance. I think balance is really important in nature and in economics. So economics, it's quite easy. Price normally determines the balance between supply and demand when you don't have external factors interfering. In nature, balance is also a natural state. However, we have been interfering in it with our policies and behavior. I read once that you need a very good tripartite agreement between government, capitalism, and society. So for every country where one is too strong, you end up with problems. And currently, when we look at the state of the environment, we do know that capitalism has been too strong in the West, and communism is probably too strong in the East. And in both cases, society suffer. And when society suffer, the environment will suffer as well. So one of the things that I try and do from my side is looking at capitalism. In a very small way, I try to look at the role of women in the financial industry. There is still very high barriers to entry for senior women in financial services. That is important because that is access to capital and also determine where the capital will go towards. One of the barriers to entry is the fact that women have to take maternity leave. So that takes them out of the job market for 9 months. And it's a very simple thing, but it takes them out of the race. So what the Scandinavian countries have done, they came up with a solution to force men to take paternity leave, and that has equalized the playing field. And therefore, I think you end up with a far better balance in business when you have both sides of the coin. That impacts then on family. So men will have more time to spend with their family, which also is very good for society in the long run. Because I do think a mother or a father bring different things into the dynamic of family life. So to get to the next point, as I said, the access to capitalism, it's also, for me, very worrying at the moment the state that capitalism is right now. We do see what I would say capitalism without a conscience. So it is making money at all costs. And that is also having a big impact on the environment and particularly on the rhino. So why am I passionate about the rhino? I have a foundation called Swiss Wildlife of Africa Foundation that helps save baby rhinos. So the rhino is a keystone species. What that means is even though it's just a big animal in Africa at the moment and in India, and elephants and rhinos have a role in nature. Because they're so big, they make paths through the very thick brush, and that allows birds, specific birds that nest in those areas, to have access to build their nests. Now, if we were to lose the rhino, and remember, capitalism has a bit of an impact on the rhino as well. So a rhino horn costs between $60,000 and $100,000 per kilogram. That is similar and even more than gold. So for their rhino horn, they are being poached, and therefore we end up with a lot of baby rhinos. And what my foundation does is to try and help save baby rhinos. Often the mother cannot get away because she's worried about the baby, and that's why poachers can get to them very quickly. When we at the orphanages get the babies, they are normally severely traumatized, and it takes a lot of time and effort to get them to get over the trauma of what they've experienced with their mother dying. So I do think if we can fix that little bit of trying to save the rhino, it will help us a lot, because the impact of the rhino is quite tremendous. If you think that if we were to lose the rhino in Africa and in India, we will lose birds migrating from Africa to Europe. And that is small things that change that will have a huge impact on the environment. So what I really would try to do, and I think we all should work towards that, is towards having capitalism with a conscience. And I think that is, in small ways, we can all contribute, but we just have to be aware about where we put our energy and where we can help. Thank you.